What's going on, y'all? Welcome back once again to the Pound for Pound Boxing channel. I'm your boy, Mac. And guys, today we will be discussing some surprising news stated by Gervonta Tank Davis about how he will be potentially hanging up the gloves after his matchup against Lamont Roach, live on March 1st at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. As usual, I'll be handing this over to my co-hosts. Now, let's talk boxing.
Welcome back to the Pound for Pound Boxing channel. My name's Eric.
And I'm Alex.
Gervonta Tank Davis, the so-called 30-year-old prospect, is now in line to fight Lamont Roach March 1st, New York, Barclays Center. Man, a lot of people in the boxing world are giving Tank heat. They're saying he's never fought nobody of elite caliber. What are your thoughts about that?
I have to agree with those guys because who has he really fought that was very elite like that? You know, I feel like that he's been selling us the same type of fight each fight. He's always saying that, oh, the next fight, I want the next guy to be elite. Shakur Stevenson, Haney, all this and that. But he hasn't really gone nowhere. If you notice, he's been selling us the same type of fights. Now, you know, before it was the Floyd Mayweather beef and everyone was interested. Now it's saying, oh, I want to retire, all this and that. So I feel like he's just really... This is all a marketing ploy, so he could get the most sales.
I do agree. I think, you know, it's a strategy to get those ticket sales, and we all know that Lamont Roach is an elite caliber. But, of course, he is going to sell. This guy said he only has 1 year left of boxing. Possibly on Tank's scale, that means it's only one more fight, if you really think about it, because he never fights. He fights once a year. But in all reality, to give credit to Tank, I don't think he just fights bums. You know, a lot of people give him a lot of flack for saying, oh, you know, this guy is one of the faces of boxing, but he fights nobodies. My opinion is I believe he does fight solid competition. You know, they might not be of that elite caliber. He's never been undisputed, hasn't been unified. He has been world champion in a couple weight divisions, but that's pretty much it. I understand the criticism because a lot of people look at the fact that he is one of the faces of boxing. He sells a lot of tickets, and so they want him to fight the best people out there. But at the same time, he has been steady. You know, he's been fighting B-level competition from Frank Martin to Mario Barrios, who's a champion at 147.
Would they even be considered B-level, though?
I believe so. You know, Mario Barrios is a 147-pounder now, a champion at welterweight, possibly in line to fight Boots next. I mean, when you look back at Tank's career, I feel like when his career is all said and done, which hopefully is not in a year, we're going to say, you know what? Yes, he didn't fight the guys at the top of the list, but he fought good fighters nonetheless. And that's my opinion.
But that's the thing. The fighters he's been fighting, they're nobodies at first, but once they fight Tank and they look somewhat decent against him, PBC, all they do is promote that fighter. They don't really promote, he doesn't fight a guy that's already self-made, a guy that's already, you know, established. He fights guys that are nobodies, and then PBC, to make Tank look good, promote that fighter, you know, and obviously their teams have to agree to every fight, but still, I just feel like that Tank is not doing enough.
Like I said, I think Tank's doing okay. You know, when we look at retrospect, of course, we don't want Tank to retire in a year or 2 years or whenever. He's literally hasn't fought that elite next level. We still want to see fights with Shakur, with Lomachenko, with Devin Haney, with Teofimo. But nonetheless, look, when we see Tank's past opponents, right, and we look at Frank Martin, you know, he's going to fight Lamont Roach. How many of those fighters would give the best fighters like Devin Haney, Teofimo, and Ryan Garcia a fight?
They would give him a fight, but I just think that they would just beat him, just like how they fought the last guys.
But that's my point. Sorry to cut you off. That's my point. I think Tank, the reason he gets so much flack is because he makes them look easy. Yes, they're not the best, but he makes them look easy because when they step in, a lot of people don't know who they are. He knocks them out, they get a bigger name, and then people want to criticize Tank because he knocked them out and made the fight look easy. And that's my point. I think that if a Devin Haney were to fight someone like Frank Martin, he'd get a lot more credit than someone like Gervonta Tank Davis. And the reason I say that is because we look at Tank like we look at someone like a Canelo. We want Canelo to fight the best guy. But sometimes they got to have B-level competition, you know, get their skills up before they get into a big fight. Again, when I talk about Tank saying that he's going to retire in a year, after 2025 he's done, I don't believe it one bit. I think he's saying that. I think he might have...
I agree.
I think he might have a great performance against Lamont Roach, and then he might fight someone else, and then he's going to say in the post-fight conference that, oh, you know what, I felt good in there today. I think I'm going to stay in the sport. I definitely got to still beat some guys. We see Tank like this in every pre- or post-fight. He's always kind of like the mean guy, the quiet guy, the guy that doesn't really want to be around people. He reminds me like of a young Mike Tyson. But right after the fight, he becomes into a humble, nice guy. And I feel like that's Tank deep down inside. And I just think all Tank needs is to fight better competitions for him to get his flowers. He passes the eye test. Everybody knows how great Tank Davis is, but he really does need to fight the elite competition.
But let me ask you this. When does he fight the top guys? When is this actually going to happen?
Well, to give him credit, he didn't fight the top guys the end of this year because Vasily Lomachenko ducked him. We all know that. Shakur Stevenson just went to Matchroom, and he signed a 3-fight deal, which 2 of those fights already went out the window. Of course, Tank being the last one, but now he's got to restart it. Can't fight Ryan Garcia because he's banned for a year. Devin Haney hasn't came back after getting an ass whooping. And Teofimo is part of a whole different company. Really, do you think Tank's going to want to give the opportunity to Teo when Teo is saying all these racist remarks? So if you think about it, yes, he could have still fought someone like De Los Santos, someone that's dangerous, or a Keyshawn Davis. But, you know, it is what it is. I think this is just a stay busy fight. I don't think of it nothing more and nothing less. I think Tank Davis is going to come and he's going to knock out Lamont Roach. I think he's going to do what he has to do, and I think he's still going to be hungry, man. I really do.
I just feel like how many stay busy fights do we need until he actually fights a good guy? I just feel like the only one I could give him props for is Ryan Garcia, but even Ryan Garcia was unproven. I know Ryan Garcia technically beat Haney, but at that point, it was just a style matchup nightmare for Haney. I just feel like we need to see Tank up against more styles, guys that are actually in it to win, not someone like Lamont Roach that's going to go in there, he'll cause some issues, and then lose and get knocked out in the second half of the fight.
To answer your question, I truly do believe that Tank's going to – right now, Tank has his back against the wall. After Lamont Roach, who is there to fight? He has to either fight Vasily Lomachenko, Keyshawn Davis, or a Shakur Stevenson. And I really do think he's going to have to fight one of those fighters by the beginning of next year. The public's not going to buy into the whole I'm retiring, and they're definitely not going to want to see him if he's just going to keep fighting these B-level opponents, especially for his last couple fights. So I really do think his back against the wall, and he knows there's money in those fights. I think, you know, you could say one thing about PBC and the Mayweather company and all these things. You could say that they're cherry pickers. I could agree to a certain point, but one thing you can't say is that they're not smart promoters. You know, they know what they're doing with Tank. They're making him talk. They're making him get out of character. They're making him be the bad guy. He's playing the heel, knocking all these guys out, and they're waiting on those big fights. I truly do believe that once they make those big fights, they're going to break records, and that's when Tank's going to be at his best. That's when he's going to come in more motivated and more hungry than ever. But let us know what you guys think. Do you guys believe that Tank Davis is really going to retire? And is he really a 30-year-old prospect? Or do you think Tank Davis will go down as one of the best boxers of this current era? Thank you guys once again for tuning in. My name's Eric.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm your boy, Mac. Thank you guys once again for tuning into the Pound for Pound Boxing channel. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we're out.